happening, I can make my decision on how I'm going to proceed. So now that I know why, because what do people say? Trolls just be trolling. The fuck are you going to do with that information? That's just what trolls do. They just be trolling. That's what and so it's this very dismissiveness of this behavior. And I'm saying, but why? Because I didn't even know what a troll was. I had to figure out what it was, why they started doing it, so I could understand it, so then I could have a strategy for it. And now I'm like, oh, but it's neurological. That's why you're doing this, because you living in your amygdala. You don't even know that you're doing it and that you could stop doing it. Shoot, I could be having a good day and then a manufacturing defect shows up and messes up the appointment, and either no hardware or no manual or broken pieces. And now action has to be taken. That is correct. When I was married, I focused on stuff said all the time. Okay. Good morning, Kevin Spicy. How are you doing this morning? How are you doing, Kevin? If you're still on here, Kevin, how's it going this morning? That's awesome, Kevin. What brings you here this morning, Kevin? What brings you to the morning mental workout? Anyone else have anything to add to what I'm saying about negativity bias? Curious about what's happening here. Okay, so would you like to ask that question? So let me ask you this, Kevin. If you're curious to know what's happening here, what prompted you to ask the first question that you asked? What prompted you to ask your first question? If you're curious to see what's taking place, what made you ask your first question? And then I'll move on to Darnetta while you're typing, Kevin. I believe negative experiences will always happen because there are so many Kevins. I meant people. Or people can start to learn how to hold themselves personally accountable using their brain and staying in their executive function. And then this can eliminate it forever and fix it for good. Kevin, sweetie, are you still here? Mr. Spicy? Muy caliente? Are you still here? Let's see if Kevin is still here. That too. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Spicy, sir, are you here? Okay, maybe you're sitting back. Well, I'll find out if you're here. Okay, yes. So what made you ask your first question? Did you not hear me? So you said you were curious to know what was going on. And so I asked, well, what prompted your initial question? If your initial situation was that you were curious, what was your inspiration for asking the first question? What were you thinking in order to ask that first question that you asked? I will not be reading it because it will not play on the repeat. I just want you to, I want to understand. Because at Frito-Lay, we learn seek first to understand and then be understood. So initially you said you were here because you were curious about what was happening, but your initial question doesn't match the answer to my question. So why did you ask your initial question if you were curious about what I'm doing here? And if anybody else has anything that's coming up for them from a negative perspective, feel free to type while we allow Kevin space to process his initial thoughts and the answer to my question. And so Kevin Spicy, Darnetta might have been talking about Kevin Hook, or she could have been talking about you. She can clarify it either way. So Mr. Spicy, are you here? And how we operate over here is if you're thinking, just type ... So go to your keyboard, and wherever the period is located on your keyboard, if you just go ...